opportunity.
All right, best opportunity to come together to do the work of the Cherokee people. We pray that you will be with us throughout this meeting. Let us make decisions that will be beneficial to those we serve. We pray that you will be with our servicemen and women, both here and abroad. Protect them as they protect us. Be with our chief as he leads this Cherokee Nation, and let him make good decisions for us. For it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Counselor Taylor. Shelley, would you do roll call?
Yes, sir. Keith Austin,
Here.
Wes Snowfire, Harley Buzzard, Joe Bird, Julia Coates, Sean Crittenden, Joe Deere, Mike Dobbins, Kanan Duncan, Rex Jordan, Daryl Legg, Dora Petskowski, Mike Shambaugh, Mary Bakershaw, E.O. Smith, Janice Taylor, Victoria Vasquez. We have a quorum.
Thank you. And I would entertain a motion for approval of the minutes of the July 12th meeting. We got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is adopted. So with the reports, Miss Diane Kelly, are you live or Memorex today? I see you live.
I'm live today.
Good afternoon. I am so glad to be here and so glad to see everybody. I want to extend my best wishes to our outgoing council members. I've enjoyed working with Mary. I've enjoyed working with you, and also Janice. And where's Joe? There he is, right back there in the back. But it's been very exciting, and I appreciate all the support that you've given my department throughout the years that you've been on the council. Thank you so much. You've got my education report, and I just wanted to mention the Honoring Mothers. This is an upcoming program initiative that our alternative education program came up with, and it is pretty explanatory. They're working with the WIC department on this, and then also they're also going to be working in the adult education program to help their clients with their birth certificates, social security cards, and tribal registration cards. They're not going out and opening the doors to do this everywhere. It's just the clients that they're actually working with, and I wanted to explain that. And then you have information in here. We're still working on the health department medical assistants. We graduated our second medical assistance class. We're getting ready to open the door for our fifth lineman training program. And it's been very successful. I asked Hunter Palmer, he's supposed to be giving a report on our career readiness program this next month, and then he'll also give you a report on the success stories from each one of those 5 classes or 4 classes that we've graduated. And then we also put some success stories in our report. We've provided you with some pictures of some of our trainees, and we've also got the graduation class from our last lineman program, our medical assistance training program, and then also our ribbon cutting on our prior office, and then I think, oh, that is Deputy Chief showing off the inside of our mobile unit. And I just got off on a conference call with our counselors. I was talking with Jamie Henson from Carl Albert earlier, and they are starting classes at Rogers State and at Carl Albert this week. Enrollment ends, I think, next Wednesday, so we've still got a little bit of a window. We're still approving applications, and I just told the directors, get those applications off your desk, get those people enrolled, because the first class is next Tuesday night. We'll have 2 classes. One will start at 5:30 to, I think, 6:30 or 7. Another one will start around 7 and it'll go to 8:30. And it's virtual, and we're going to provide all of the students who's in those classes with a laptop so that they can do their work throughout the whole week. Hopefully, we will have some certified child care providers at the end of the training program, and anybody who already has the certification can go back and take classes for the advanced program. So we're trying to ramp up and have people in the pipeline for these child care centers that are being built in Pryor, Salisaw, and then the renovation for the one in Catoosa. And right now, there is a need for child care providers. If you, as a council member, know somebody who would like to be in that program, get in touch with one of our field offices and we'll take an application on them. We are still having trouble getting some of our classes filled because people are still drawing their unemployment. Some of them got extensions. So we're hoping maybe by the time all these kids go back to school in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll have people that'll be coming in wanting various types of training. So anyway, with that said, do you have any questions of me?
Are there any questions for Diane?
Where was that employment check when I was growing up, Diane? When you and I were at NSU starving to death?
Well, I was telling Todd that I remember his dad and Joyce Vance and Sammy Smith, they worked over at the training center for orientation. They was at an office, all three of them together. And I can remember going over there my freshman year in college, which was in 1971, getting a $50 scholarship from the Cherokee Nation. So that's how far you've come in all these years.
We've come a long way. Thank you,
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Thank you.
Counselor Shaw.
Hi, Diane. Diane, on your programs, what's the usual wait time from the time people apply to the time the programs start?
It varies.
It varies.
I've got 6 different directors that are actually putting people in training, and some of them are a little bit slower than others. Some of them have 3 different programs that they're operating, and right now there is a rush, and that was what I was telling everybody in the call today. If you need to, take the paperwork home, but get it off your desk.
Great. Listen, it's been a pleasure for the last 4 years. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Are there other questions for Diane? Yes, Counselor Smith.
That line crew, are the majority of them working?
Yes, sir, they are.
All of them?
I'm not sure about that. Mr. Palmer will be giving you a report on that next month.
It's by far been one of the most popular, hadn't it?
It has. In our lineman program, according to Oklahoma State Tech, we're the only ones doing the lineman program, and it is very popular. And this is our 3rd class of it.
Good.
Speaking of linemen, everybody needs to pay attention to the picture on page 10 of the young man who is standing at at 90 degrees from that pole. That's a very impressive bravery that young man is showing. I'm not sure it shows he's smart, but it sure shows he's brave.
Yes, it does. He wasn't too far off the ground, I understand. That's why they didn't take it all the way down.
Well, I'm not at that stage in life anymore. You're not going to get me there.
Not
But
either.
I am impressed by that young man. Anybody else? Diane, thank you so much. And again, I speak of this picture. I do truly enjoy the pictures and stories of the successes and the programs and the people involved in these programs. Those really help to tell your story well. Thank you. again.
Thank you. I just want to say that the deputy director for ETA, Frank Steluka, one of the things he told us when we went down to Dallas a couple of years ago, and of course Daryl has gone with us down there, but he told us pictures basically say it all.
Yeah.
And they encouraged us to send pictures. So what we do is Larry Daugherty, who works for us in our Tulsa office, his background is in public relations. He does our newsletter that goes out to our clients, and we do a quarterly newsletter, and then we do these monthly reports for you as council members and administration. And what we do is we package these up on a quarterly basis, and we send them down to ETA, and they ask if they could use them when they go up on the Hill to the Congress and the Senate for their appropriations. So we know that they're using our stuff, and we've kept the pipeline going so that they see that Cherokee Nation is spending the money that we get from them properly.
Well, it's appreciated and it works. It matters. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, you're free. Mr. Corey Bunch with the Executive Director's Report. Hello, Corey.
Good afternoon. I believe that, ladies and gentlemen, have my report, and I would be glad to answer any questions in just a couple of moments, if you don't mind. Chairman Austin, I'd like to announce a couple of deadlines. One is we have the Remember the Removal bike ride applications open already this year. The deadline is going to be on the 18th, I believe, of this month. I'll double check that, but I think it's the 18th. We'll send that information via email through Gail. Also, the Tribal Youth Council applications are open until September 1st. So, again, we'll send that information through Gail. Councilor Austin, I'd like to just follow up with something you asked a while back. We're really trying to speed up our process on getting our award letters out for our scholarships. We've gotten a lot of those out. I think our staff is quickly processing those applications. I think we have maybe 400 or so still to go, so letters are going out all the time. Also, this week, we should make our first batch of payments out to the university, so that's maybe a record, so I'd like to say thank you to my staff who are listening on that one. $7 million, I think, will go out this week alone. Let's see. Other than that, if you have any questions on my report, I'd be glad to answer those, and then if you'd like me to speak on Sequoia School's behalf, I'll be glad to do that as well.
Are there questions? Yes, Dr. Dobbins?
Corey, would you mind, maybe the whole council send out our directed studies recipients and what areas of study they are in?
Yes. I believe we only have one individual on that, and that's in dental, but I'll double check that and we'll send it out to you.
So we only have one student in directed studies?
That's correct.
Are you recommending an increase in that?
We haven't, to my knowledge, they haven't been offering that to anyone in the last little bit, so what we have in mind is maybe creating a new type of a program with some different incentives, but we haven't got that nailed down yet. We're working with administration on a new plan for that.
Okay, and I noticed you may not know the answer, on page 17, said that we were meeting with Dr. Charles Gord for grant opportunities. Is Dr. Gord with us now, or is he employed somewhere else now?
No, Dr. Gord actually works in our hallway in education services. So I've tasked him with doing multiple things, and one is grants, looking into what grants are available to not only us in education services, but other programs like language and culture.
Okay, thank you, Corey. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Yes, Mary?
Hi, Corey.
Hello.
Corey, could you tell me if you are aware of any tests with the immersion school versus our school students? Can you tell me how they do on testing? I know there are various levels of testing in different programs. How do our immersion school children test out?
Well, that's a great question. They are forced, I would say, to take the test in English, which is not our charter. You know, our charter's for Cherokee language specifically, but they do test in with the English test. So they're the way they compare to other schools isn't as good. That's all I can say. I don't have the specific numbers, but I know we're at a lower level because it's written in English. So I think that's one thing that I'd like to work with Howard Payton on, is how we can get some of those tests rewritten in the Cherokee language, which is our primary focus at the immersion school.
So basically what you're saying is the standardized testing, that they don't test as well as, say, a public school.
Mm-hmm.
They're testing below level.
Yeah, they're testing below level, that's correct.
And, but you are working on getting that changed.
Yeah, definitely, and not only with that, but, the immersion school actually falls under Howard in language, but I work with him closely, and we're really working well together as far as strengthening their curriculum and other things that they do. I'm excited to work with Howard, and there's a lot of great things that are going to happen with the immersion school and his program. So
With the immersion program, is there a point in time before graduation when they're brought around and the English is brought? I mean, will they have the same qualifications and
Yes.
abilities in college is what I'm
Yes,
thinking of? Secondary
definitely,
education.
definitely so, and I know that's a concern, and a concern that a lot of parents have, but I believe they start transitioning to a lot more English in around the sixth grade, and then by the time they graduate high school, because we've had many of them come through Sequoia High School, many of them have done very well and gone on to college and other things, so there is a little bit of a catch-up, but they catch up really quick. So that's the good news. Those standardized tests, you got to take those with a little bit of a grain of salt because they don't always measure true performance and success for students and for schools, in my opinion.
Wado, thank you, Corey.
Any other questions for Corey relating to the Education Department? Corey, I did notice, thank you for mentioning the checks going out, because you say here funding will start going out starting August 6th. and this
Actually, it
month.
should go, we were hoping to get it out by last Friday.
Yeah.
But we should get it out this week for sure.
Well, I'm impressed that you're that close to your target. I
Yep.
really am. That's very
Yep.
impressive, because that was speeding things up a whole bunch, and really helping with that period of, as students are getting to college and they know, it's giving a clarification for them as they enter college that things are taken care of, their
Yep.
business is taken care of. That's very much appreciated. The one thing I was wondering is on the wait list, when will students who are on that wait list will they be notified if they are funded or not funded, and when will that take place?
That's correct, and I believe that many of them have already been notified. As I said, we're still processing some of the information and gathering documents, but we're getting through those very, very quickly this year, so probably faster than ever, I would say.
Okay, so they're literally are learning, some of them have learned?
Yes, yeah, it's just, each day we process more, and each day we send out new award letters.
Okay, and are most on the wait list, well, who have actually done what they're supposed to do beyond being late?
Yeah, a lot of them have been. It just varies from student to student, but most of them just had most of their stuff, but for some reason they might have been waiting on one or two things and didn't hit the submit button.
Okay, well, good. It's, having had college students in recent years in my life, as they are entering that first week, knowing this business is taken care of is very important.
For sure.
Anybody else? Yes, Counselor Smith?
So if they haven't got their notice yet, what should we tell them when they call them
Well,
and they're afraid?
If they can, they should always contact their advisor that's assigned to them in the College Resource Center. If not, they can call or email me, and I'll be glad to look into it as well. I do it frequently for students. But you might just tell them we're still processing applications as quickly as we can.
Okay.
Counselor Crittenden?
Yeah, Corey, good to see you. Just the discussion about the standardized test. I'm glad that you talked about the students who are being successful and, kind of alluding to the standardized test, being the litmus, for a well-rounded education. Some of these kids are having to go through a transition phase. When they come out of that transitional phase, they know a language. They know our language. So I know Mary wasn't saying trying to get to, good and bad standardized tests, but we have to look at the whole picture when those kids have their language, transition, get an education, and they're being successful. So it's not really a black and white thing, according to the test.
Yep.
And but I'm excited about the things coming up the hill and those students. The goal is for them to keep our language alive.
That's correct.
And it's happening. So thank you for your work and your staff.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Seeing none, why don't you pivot to your Sequoia report?
Okay, Sequoia, Just like to mention a couple of things. School will be starting this week on Thursday. Our teachers are reporting back tomorrow morning. We had several employees go through orientation this morning, so we appreciate HR getting those processed. We're looking forward to the school year. We've brought on some terrific additional staff. We've got a lot of great new programs that we'll be able to announce very soon. Not just ready on some of them, but very soon. We do have a new school website that we've just rolled out. It doesn't have a lot on it, but if you get a chance, please check it out. Part of that new website is also mentions you can download an app. So you can download an app to your smartphone, and then you can get the notifications that are sent out. I encourage our teachers and our coaches and all of our employees to put all the good news stories out to our parents and our community. So if you have the app, you'll be getting those news feeds and live feeds on the app. Plus, you can go on there and check the calendar of events to see what's coming on to Sequoia School. So that's going to be a great new communication tool for us this coming school year. But other than that, we're ready to go. We're excited to start receiving students.
Dr. Dobbins?
Corey, in Health Committee, we had obviously a real extensive discussion on COVID. What were the approximate numbers of positives we had at Sequoia High School in the last academic year?
I don't know the exact number, but I'm thinking it was way less than 50. We would catch one every week or two. We would test the kids as soon as they got to school through a little screening process so that they never entered into the classroom with everybody else. I mean, our staff did a wonderful job at Sequoia of doing the testing. So it was a very, very low number, and it was always usually a student that was showing no symptoms. So everyone was surprised whenever it did happen.
So would you say we had no hospitalization of any Sequoia students in the whole academic year?
No, I don't believe we had any hospitalizations that I was ever aware of for one of our students.
Okay, thank you, Corey. Thank you, Chair.
That's good news. Yes, Counselor Duncan?
With the size of our enrollment at Sequoia High School, with those positive cases that you're referring to, how did that match up with other area schools with the enrollment that we have?
Well, it's hard to say because a lot of the schools didn't do their own testing like we did. We were one of the only schools in the state to do the testing, I believe. So I believe that the public schools reported their information to the State Department of Education. So I will try to look and see if there's a report on just that.
Okay. You think we were lower than they were
I think
in
we
most
were
cases?
lower, but you also got to take into account we didn't participate in any activities. So it's kind of hard to gauge that.
Okay. All right. And we've already had students enrolled, correct?
Yes.
What are we looking at so far?
I
Approximate.
still think we're around that 350 range.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a very large freshman class who have applied to attend Sequoia. And actually, we're still receiving applications for enrollment at Sequoia every day. So we'll be back up there where we need to be.
Good. All right. I'd like to see
Counselor
one of our
Duncan?
students in the Olympics one of these days.
Oh, that'd be terrific. I know we've had a lot of students with that goal in the past, so we'll see one day.
I think so too. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Corey, I had heard that the governor signed some legislation where we can't mandate masks in public schools anymore. As far as Sequoia is concerned, I didn't know what the BIE's position was or if they're doing anything. Are we planning on mandating masks for students when they come back?
Yes, that's correct. The governor, well, actually, there was a Senate bill that got passed and then signed into law by the governor. And it won't allow schools to mandate masks at all unless there's an emergency declared by the governor. But Sequoia, being on federal property, we'll be able to mandate masks. And just to make sure, we also checked with the health folks and with the Cherokee Nation Attorney General's office to make sure we're all safe to do so. And we're all on the same page that at Sequoia schools, we will be able to mandate masks.
Well, that's great. Just speaking as a parent of a kid that goes to a public school, that's, I mean, I hate that my kid had to wear a mask all last school year, but It gives you a little bit of comfort too. And so it was a little bit disheartening to hear the news of that, and so I'm glad that we can do as we see fit here. So thank you.
Counselor Shaw?
Corey, last year we saw some students transfer out because of sports and the facts that we had restricted it. Are they coming back to Sequoia this year?
We've had a few that have reapplied to us, and we are working with those individuals on regaining their eligibility was one of their main concerns. They can obviously come back to school to us at any time. They just might not be eligible to participate in the activities.
I'm sorry, could you explain that to me? I'm not real familiar with sports like that.
Yeah, so we're
On the
governed by
eligibility.
the Oklahoma Athletic Association for secondary schools, and they have to be eligible, much like a college student would be by the NCAA. And so if they transfer schools, they could lose 1 year of eligibility if they choose to come back to us. So some of them, they can apply for what they call a hardship, and that's what we're fighting for. Some of us went to their office a couple of months ago to fight for our students because we have a different type of setting at Sequoia. They're surrounded by their tribal peers. They have access to more culture, to more language. So in our opinion, those students should have been able to return to us without penalty. We weren't recruiting students from other schools that had never attended Sequoia. These were students of ours who chose to go to a different school and are returning.
What a,
Are there other questions? Comments? None. That's not too bad. We appreciate you, and start of school year is always all in.
It is.
You're very submitted for a while, so appreciate you and your staff and taking care of things and helping get our college students off and our school going. So thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
Ms. Verna Thompson. She is. Hello, Verna. It's good to see you.
Good to see you all. Well, today is the first day of school up there. You should have seen all the babies, brand new ones and those returning. And the staff are just cute. They have T-shirts on today, bright yellow, that says, "Happy staff, happy children." So we hope so. But the kids were all adjusting well, and we're starting our 43rd year of Head Start. It doesn't seem possible. That's for the 3- and 4-year-olds. And for early Head Start, it's our 25th year starting this year. So we're just really glad to have everybody on board. But I wanted to say a little something about the pre-service that we just had for the last 2 weeks, and I want to put a special plug in for Dr. Gann up there at Hastings. He is always a phone call away. He did sessions for us for our early Head Start staff and the Head Start staff, and he is just such a man that met his calling, I think, and I told him so. I think he's done really well. With that, I'll take any questions if you have any.
Are there any questions? Yes, Counselor Shaw?
Verna, are you putting masks on these little ones?
Well, I know Tahlequah does, but not the early Head Start are just babies, so no.
What ages are those?
6 weeks to 3, but
On Head Start?
mostly young ones, yeah. Head Start's 3- and 4-year-olds. They train them, most of them will, but not all of them, no.
Okay.
And
Well,
some,
Well, I was just worried about the safety factor for these little bitty ones.
Right.
Bless their hearts.
right, yeah. We guard them with our lives.
Okay. And what a,
Anybody else? Looks like they are so happy that they don't have any questions for you today.
Works for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, there's no old business on the agenda or no new business on the agenda, and the next meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, September 13th at 3 p.m. With that being said, I would take a motion for adjournment. Second? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, we're adjourned.